Okay, so what was the person's name and who was he to you?
His name was Peter H. Furman, and he was my grandfather, your great-grandfather.
And where did he come from and why?
He came from Russia during the early coup, where immigrants escaped by boarding ships to America.
So he was escaping the Russians?
Persecution from the Russians.
And so he got on a boat, and you said he snuck on the boat?
I'm sure he snuck onto the boat. I'm sure they didn't get passports.
So then, how, without the proper documentation, how was he able to come through Ellis Island and gain citizenship?
I don't know the history to that.
Okay. So when did he meet his wife?
Well, they came across America in covered wagons. Him and his cousin Con Furman escaped together from the coup in Russia. And they came across in covered wagons to the Dakotas in the early 1900s. In North Dakota, they all bought little parcels of land and they took up homesteading, and by living on the land and farming it. He met another homesteader's family, and thus Elizabeth, age 16, married Peter H. Furman at the age of 21. And after one night, a neighbor came over to him and said that a plot to burn him and his family out because of strange religious teachings was considered witchcraft. Thus, Peter H. and Elizabeth and their baby fled in the night and ended up in the Baylor community near Opine, Montana. He started
So, in other words, he married Elizabeth, and they were part of this religion that was part of the old world. Right. It was a sect from the old world where women were incorporated into the priesthood.
Right.
As they were both preachers.
Right.
And the local community that they were moved into didn't like this. They thought it was weird and threatened to burn them out in the middle of the night. And so they packed up everything, including the first of 12 children, my grandmother, and came to the northeast corner of Montana, where they started their own church and their own school.
Correct.
Okay. And did Grandma ever talk about it?
Yes.
What did she say about it? Like, what was it like for them?
Well, they lived up in the Opine community, and it was very hard, and it was very harsh living, and it was hard labor.
What was the hardest part about adjusting to life in the United States? I mean, they didn't speak English, they spoke German.
Right.
And what else was hard about it?
Well, it was hard because we were at war with Germany, and they spoke German. And finally one day someone told them, you have to stop speaking German and start speaking English because you'll be persecuted again.
Okay. What institution or groups of people made the process easier?
The groups of people that made it easier were their cousin that came over too, Con Furman, and they kind of hung together. And the kids grew up together. They had large families, and that was their socialization, was their cousins.
So it was kind of like one family, one extended family kind of made a whole community.
Right, right.
And that's why I have so many cousins that married cousins.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So